Today we are making my all-time favorite steak sandwich. We got zabuton steak. We're gonna make a homemade garlic aioli, chimichurri, because that is the best steak sauce, and homemade skinny fries. Let's get into it. Cue the ASMR. So we have our steak, and what we just did is salt the shit out of it. We're gonna try and draw out some moisture. Ideally, you wanna let this sit in your fridge overnight. I'm not gonna wait overnight, so it's gonna sit for like 10 minutes. This should help develop a nice crust on the steak. We have a bowl of ice water, we have a potato. We're going to slice this super thin and kind of make skinny fries, and then we'll dunk it in the ice water, let that chill for like 30 minutes, and what you're doing there is drawing out all the starch. You can use a mandolin to do this. Those scare me, and I don't want to cut myself, so I'm gonna be doing this by hand. Chimichurri time. Always clean as you go, you know? Don't want a messy workstation, even though I am very fucking messy. And don't ask me about measurements, because I eyeball everything. Red wine vinegar. Red chili flakes, we got oregano, and salt. I mean, that was money. So this is our close to authentic chimichurri. We got parsley, garlic, red chili, oil vinegar, red chili flakes, and oregano. Now, I like to add one ingredient that is not traditional at all, and that is orange juice. For some reason, it just makes it a little sweeter. I find it to be a lot better. I actually tried this for the first time in Miami. I was eating at a restaurant. I got steak and eggs with chimichurri. Their chimichurri was so good. I literally asked the waitress, I was like, yo, what do you guys put in this? Because it's substantially better than the stuff I normally have. And they're like, the secret is orange juice. So from that point on, I had a little squeeze in there. Let's give this a taste. I'm telling you, I could literally eat this like as soup. This is the best sauce, and it's gonna be absolutely bomb on our steak. I know I said I don't measure, but for aioli, it's a 1 egg to 1 cup of oil ratio, so you don't really want to mess that up. So we just made our garlic aioli super easy. We just used 1 egg, 1 cup of neutral oil, a little bit of mustard, some lemon juice, and then you pretty much just season it however you want. In this case, we did garlic, and yeah, it's beautiful. And yeah, it comes together in literally less than 5 minutes. Nice. So now we are going to strain the potatoes. Now this step is very important because if you leave any water on here and you dump it in the oil, it's gonna pretty much overflow and could start a fire, blow up your house. You don't want that. So just make sure they're super dry before they go into the oil. Peanut oil, the best oil to fry French fries. I love this thing. And I actually need it to turn on my stove. I'm not just doing it for fun. We're gonna let that heat up to 375. Best kitchen tool hack. This is like 10 bucks, I wanna say. And you just shoot it on whatever you want and it'll read. We're good, it didn't explode. But yeah, usually if you see a bunch of bubbling like this, it means there was still some moisture, so just use a big enough pot and we'll just let it go. So you're gonna wanna pull them out when they're thin, brown, nice and crispy, and into a bowl they go. As a kid, I used to eat these kind of fries all the time at steakhouses, and that's kind of where I got the idea of steak and fries work very well together. For me, the best bite is always like, you take a bite of steak, you take a bite of fries. So if you just put it all in a sandwich, you're eliminating the issue of bite. You just take one bite, you get it all in one. Crunch test. So bomb. You cut them thin, like matchsticks. It's almost like a hybrid of a potato chip and French fry, or at least to me, that's how it tastes. So good. Just spill like all of them. We just took the steak out of the fridge. You can see it's a little wet. The salt has drawn out the moisture. And season it with some pepper. And now we are gonna get a cast iron ripping hot. So the last step is literally to just sear it. We're gonna butter baste it, let that rest, and while it rests, we'll pretty much prepare all the components of the sandwich. We're gonna toast the bread, cut it, garlic aioli, sliced steak, chimichurri, fries, the perfect steak sandwich. So we just added these little weights. That'll help add some pressure, some weight. That'll help the steak develop a nice crust. That's good. Want to sear on all sides. And what I've done is on the steak, I've lowered the heat so the butter doesn't burn. You just want it to melt. Butter going in, add the herbs, the garlic. And then once your butter starts melting, you're just gonna go ahead, get a big spoon, and baste your steak. Now we will remove it from the heat and let it rest. I just added butter on top of this while it rests because fat is flavor. So if you ever eat a steak at a steakhouse and you wonder why it's so good, well, one, it's probably a good cut of meat, but two, they use a shitload of butter. So you can see it's definitely more on the rare side. That's how I like my steak. So when I cut into this and it's gonna be super pink, I don't want all these comments like, oh dude, like your steak's raw, like the cow's still mooing. Honestly, you could say that. I find it hilarious. I personally just like my steak barely seared, more rare. It's gonna be pretty pink in there, just saying. But I know that, okay? Moment of truth. Let's see how pink it is on the inside. That right there, medium rare. That's how I like my steak. Little taste test. That's a good steak. Now we're just gonna hit it with some flaky salt. All the components of my favorite steak sandwich, let's build it. This is my all-time favorite bread for sandwiches. It is fusilli or fusil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's basically like a mini sourdough baguette, and we're just gonna toss it in the toaster oven. We're gonna cut off just the tips. Here we have it, my all-time favorite steak sandwich. Garlic aioli, zabuton steak, chimichurri, string cut french fries. Let's give it a taste. Not really sure what to say, but this is fucking delicious. So messy. I would rate this sandwich a 9-1. Don't really know what I would change because this is my favorite, but there's always room for improvement. I love this sandwich. It'll never disappoint. Give this a shot. Let me know what other sandwiches or any food items you want to see me make. See you next time.